Hi, I'm Nikhil Shenoy, CEO of Colvin Run Networks, a mission-driven analytics company. Many thanks to the Navy SBIR and STP programs for inviting us to showcase the exciting work developed in partnership with the Office of Naval Research and the NAVSEA Regional Maintenance Centers, and NAVSEA 21. The Project Management Decision Aid, or PMDA solution, was developed under an initiative called SHIPMATE, Secure Hyper-Intelligent Predictive Maintenance Analytics with Tactical Enhancements. The PMDA makes large volumes of data for important programs more manageable. While this initial development focused on ships, the solution can be extended to aircraft, missiles, installations, and any other major systems and projects. The core problem Colvin Run addresses in SHIPMATE was highlighted in May of 2022 by a GAO report that transparent reporting could help reduce the risks posed by $1.8 billion in the Navy's ship maintenance backlog. While many efforts to address this requirement have taken a top-down approach, the PMDA was developed by starting at the waterfront, addressing key decision support needed for project managers, or PMs, to fix ships on schedule and on budget. We found that PMs and their shipbuilding specialist teams spent hours daily trying to filter through volumes of data. And with that commercial technology, Colvin Run demonstrated savings in time and resources with an upfront investment in data engineering. The Navy estimated that the Colvin Run PMDA solution could save $38 million per shipyard per year by increasing on-time availability completion and reducing 126 days of maintenance delay. I'm excited to introduce you to Colvin Run Networks, a mission-driven analytics company. Colvin Run was named a top 10 startup by the U.S. Air Force. We work with world-class technology partners and have built our approach around the cross-industry standard process for data mining, or CRISP-DM, focused on user-centered design. Open source tools are well known, and what we've adopted at Colvin Run is the open source CRISP-DM methodology through our SBIR efforts to ensure holistic implementation of production-ready data-driven solutions. These solutions are extensible to any data-driven use case, and we've worked with several defense agencies, nonprofits, and commercial customers. CRISP-DM starts with mission and data understanding and has discrete tasks then for data preparation, modeling, and evaluation leading up to the eventual deployment. And I'll cover that later in this presentation, but our unique solution approach really does focus on end-user adoption. So many enterprise systems achieve things at the organizational level, but need custom spreadsheets or other workarounds developed by people on the front lines. And so that's where we start. The first phase of CRISP-DM is really understanding the mission at hand and what needs to be accomplished. This honestly was the most fun part of the project. Getting to know the men and women at the centers in San Diego, Norfolk, and Jacksonville, putting on a hard hat to tour the shipyard and the ships, and really getting to know what it takes to maintain these amazingly complex systems that are just so important for our national security. So the Regional Maintenance Center ship availability completion rate was about 42% when we were doing this work. They were facing serious delays that they measure in days of maintenance delay, or DMD. As I mentioned before, PMs and shipbuilding specialists, or SBSs as they're called, spend 10 to 12 hours per week gathering information to find answers for projects moving forward, and then using tools like Excel, and then having to put them into PowerPoint or other types of template to then communicate that information. These people sift through multiple reports, including some standardized documents like the 00960, the 909310G, or others that are used in ship maintenance. And again, these types of forms could be extended to the Form 781 if you deal with aircraft and so on. But using this kind of standardized data set and the different nuances from each contractor as they received, it leads to nebulous contractor accountability. The good news is that these PMs and SBSs do fix ships. Many of them had developed truly innovative workarounds for dealing with these legacy systems and repetitive data processing. However, the tools were not standardized and make data aggregation and higher level management difficult. It was difficult, for example, for one PM or SBS to move from one ship to another. It's also nearly impossible to impact things that you can't reliably measure. With that mission understanding of the current state, Colvin Run focused on key issues to meet PM and SBS needs, including intuitive depictions of work progress, a common operating picture across ships and regional maintenance centers, or RMCs, all built on a single trusted source of truth. We successfully developed the PMDA prototype in MicroStrategy, a leading enterprise analytics software package that answered 3 critical questions with a few clicks instead of needing hours of searching and sifting through emails. First, given a work item number or a standard code, what spaces are affected? This helps, for example, understand critical path issues to getting projects finished on time, and helps see which personnel can help resolve or even better get ahead of these issues. And so the way this would work is you can type in the work item number, and only those areas of the ship would remain highlighted in that image that you see here. The second question that we addressed was, given a ship location, what is going on in the space? Again, the image here shows a ship drawing that the Colvin Run team modeled. Instead of using codes or descriptions that may differ by ship or contract format, you just click on the room and can see what's going on in that space based on the available data. Another useful feature was taking the status quo, which is dozens of Excel pages printed out with the red, yellow, green column almost all red, was that we were able to provide shades of red. In this case, darker red indicates more work going on in a certain space, so you can just see very quickly where the bulk of your effort is focused. Now we can adjust that metric however you need. And again, I understand shades of red is not exactly 508 compliant yet, but the people that we talked to loved it and are fixing that in production. So when we transition this technology, that will be a major part of it. Lastly, the third question that we focused on was, by major system or category, what and where are the relevant work items relative to completion goals? So this simple request of understanding what's going on by system, for example, identifying work items and locations with conduit or ones that require hot work like welding, was a major pain point that we could start to address in the PMDA solution from this single pane. These 3 key questions were the basis for prior work that would take hours in Excel and PowerPoint for those PMs and SBSs. There's still a lot of work to do for the PMDA in addressing the underlying data and how the resulting information is aggregated and communicated and utilized up the chain of command. But this PMDA effort scoped out an incredibly impactful focus area as a starting point that frees up time for thousands of maintainers and their stakeholders, along with major benefits for the Navy that we'll discuss shortly. How exactly does the Navy benefit from the PMDA solution? Well, it is incredibly flexible and was demonstrated to work for multiple types of ships, different information formats, and unique requirements without having to recreate spreadsheets or other types of templates. The resulting PowerPoint-like interactive outputs that you can see here in thumbnail form make data visible and accessible because consistent, collected, and curated data is now ready to be communicated automatically. This eliminates tiresome manual data gymnastics and email forensics, which frees up time and resources for leaders and maintainers, and then translates into measurable schedule and budget improvements. The Colvin Run PMDA solution multiplies the acquisition tracking, tasking, and details behind the project management function that can be extended to any major system or program. In fact, it was estimated by the Navy to deliver a 17 times return on investment once in production. So, on to production. Colvin Run has successfully started transitioning the PMDA capability to C21. Given Colvin Run's technology-agnostic approach, the Navy requested that the capabilities we demonstrated in MicroStrategy get implemented in their existing Tableau environment. The effort is currently underway under the Ship Maintenance Data Improvement Initiative, or SMIDI, program of record. During the transition process, we were honored to get the support of Representative Jerry Connolly's office, and along with partnership from multiple RMC commanding officers, executive directors, and engagements with the NAVC-21 Director of Transformation and Wartime Readiness, the Chief Innovation Officer, and especially the NAVC-21 Director of Data and Metrics. The operational view here summarizes how data flows from its source through the PMDA environment and up to RMC and then Navy leadership. Core principles of PMDA development are that any solution needed to be fast, intuitive, and impactful, which we accomplished, and we're proud to achieve a 100% Net Promoter Score in a Navy survey conducted after our SBIR Phase 2 prototype effort, based on PM and SBS feedback. The SHIPMATE PMDA initiative falls under the Aforma AI solution line, which is how Colvin Run markets and commercializes our analytical offerings. The tools paired with our CRISP-DM approach afford limitless use cases for aircraft, submarines, ground vehicles, commercial or other buildings, manufacturing facilities, oil and gas wells, and several complex systems with project-based sustainment. The Colvin Run solution approach, built on CRISP-DM, takes the open approach and tailors it to organizational needs by starting with the people on the front lines. You cannot take an organization out for coffee, so it's really, really important to focus on the people at all levels. As I mentioned before, Colvin Run measures the success of our implementations by a single metric, and that is adoption. Training, maintaining the infrastructure, and providing enhancements over time are critical for mission success. Thank you for taking the time to listen and learn about Colvin Run Network's development of the Project Management Decision Aid with support from ONR, Navy SBIR, NAVC-21 leadership, and the managers and maintainers on the waterfront. It's important to note that if you would like to acquire the PMDA capability, the Small Business Innovation Research or SBIR program was reauthorized in September of 2022. This allows companies like Colvin Run to enable rapid sole source acquisitions related to this SBIR award topic or any of the topics listed here by any U.S. federal agency on a rapid sole source basis. In addition to SBIR, Colvin Run has traditional contract vehicles as well. We have a GSA multiple award schedule in process, a new Navy Cooperative Research and Development Agreement, or CRADA, for any data-related use case, and we have established business relationships with multiple prime contractors who can help you and your organization rapidly acquire our solutions and services. Please call me at 703-967-1967 or email me at Nikhil, with the H, Nikhil, at colvinrun.net to see how we could tailor project management decision aids or other analytical capabilities for your requirements. Thank you again, and I really look forward to hearing from you or seeing you at FCO West. Goodbye.